YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. So, 49ers have a lot of options that they could go at quarterback in the 2021 NFL Draft. In this video, I'm going to be going over which one could be the best fit and why. So, with that being said, college quarterback number one that could likely fit in the Shanahan system, Zack Wilson. We know Trevor Lawrence is going number one to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars actually lost when the Jets won, and that made the Jaguars clinch the number one overall pick. So, Jaguars, not the Jets, have the number one pick. So, Jaguars 110% going to go Trevor Lawrence. If they don't, that's mind-boggling to me, and I don't understand. And if they don't go Trevor Lawrence number one, that puts the 49ers in a better position to draft a top-tier quarterback in the draft if the 49ers do draft a quarterback. I'm not saying they will, because you never know. Before the draft, we have free agency, and that's when trades happen, and the whole 9 yards. So the 49ers could trade for a guy like Stafford, a guy like Matt Ryan. They could bring in Carson Wentz if they wanted to. There's a lot of guys the 49ers can trade for and bring in the offseason. But if they don't, bring in anybody, I think the first quarterback that we could look at, because obviously, like I said, we know Jaguars are going to draft Trevor Lawrence, and it's likely going to be Zack Wilson or Justin Fields at the number 2 pick with the Jets. So let's say the Jaguars take Trevor Lawrence and the New York Jets take Zack Wilson. Let's just say that happens. Then you have Justin Fields still on the board. You have Kyle Trask still on the board. Trey Lance is still on the board. And Mac Jones. And a lot of people are high on Mac Jones. He's got a big arm. He's a traditional quarterback. He's not a dual threat guy. I don't think the 49ers are going to draft Zack Wilson or Justin Fields if they are available when it comes time to draft them. Now, here's why. Kyle Shanahan has made it known over the past couple of years that him not only being an offensive coordinator, but him being, a head coach. Kyle Shanahan's a traditional offense kind of guy. He does not like a running quarterback. Back in, I believe it was 2012 when Shanahan was with the Washington Redskins, then Washington Redskins, now obviously Washington Football Club. But when he was with them, Dan Snyder, the GM of the Washington Redskins back then, wanted RG3, and he took RG3. That was not Kyle Shanahan's decision. Kyle Shanahan wanted a different quarterback. He welcomed the idea, I'm sure, of taking Robert Griffin III, but that's not Kyle Shanahan's type of quarterback. He likes a traditional guy, a guy that can stand in the pocket, a guy that takes 2 to 3, steps back in the pocket and can sling the ball. That's Kyle Shanahan's type of quarterback. He can take or leave a dual threat quarterback. And it's kind of weird to me because the NFL is seemingly going more towards, a lot of more dual threat quarterbacks being drafted. Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, those type of guys, really good quarterbacks. And they can also do really good things on, when it comes to running the football as well. And with having a dual threat quarterback, you're always keeping the defense guessing because the defense has to take you in as a runner. They're going to have to label you as a runner, which means they're going to have to throw a spy on you or whatnot. So a dual-threat quarterback in the NFL is definitely trending upward, and a lot of teams are starting to do it now. But with Kyle Shanahan, it's not his type of quarterback. He would rather take a quarterback like Carson Wentz, like a Matt Ryan, like Matthew Stafford, a guy that is a gunslinger in the pocket and that can, get a 2-minute drill done going in half, a 2-minute drill at the end of the game, he can get it done. That's who Kyle Shanahan wants. I know that. A lot of Niners fans know that. I think that the most appealing quarterback to Kyle Shanahan in the draft will be Kyle Trask. And here's why. Kyle Trask is not as athletic as Justin Fields. He's not as athletic as Zack Wilson. But Kyle Trask has a big arm. And Kyle Trask plays at the University of Florida. University of Florida plays top-tier NFL-type defenses. I mean, these guys that Kyle Trask is playing, Texas A&M, Tennessee, all those top-tier D1 schools, a lot of those guys are going into the pro. A lot of those guys are going to the NFL. With Zack Wilson playing at BYU and then Trey Lance playing at South Dakota State. Those guys I don't think are there's question marks considering they don't play at colleges in which, have guys that are NFL ready. So that's, I think, what separates Kyle Trask from the rest of the quarterbacks, and I think that's what Kyle Shanahan's going to pinpoint out. It's probably going to be one of the biggest things he pinpoints out, when he's going over and he's assessing these quarterbacks in the draft. So, like I said, I mean, I would take Justin Fields. I would take Kyle Trask. I would take Zack Wilson. Zack Wilson is my draft crush just because of how he plays and the swagger he brings and the swagger he could bring to the 49ers. But look, I mean, with the Jaguars securing the number 1 pick, they're taking Lawrence, and it's likely going to be Justin Fields or Zack Wilson at the number 2 selection. If they draft somebody else, it's going to be a surprise to me. So the 49ers could have a shot at Zack Wilson, and if they take him, I'm going to be the happiest guy in the world. But the reality of that happening and the 49ers actually taking a dual threat quarterback is slim, because Kyle Shanahan, that's just not his type of wave. Now, the dual threat quarterbacks in the upcoming draft now are very, very talented. Like Zack Wilson's making, highlights every single week, week in and week out. He just had a hell of a bowl game that he played in. Zack Wilson's a top-tier guy. He's 6'3". He's not that big when it comes to, muscle and fat and whatnot. He's a small guy. But small players in the NFL have never been a problem with me. I've always believed in heart over height, and I think that's what Zack Wilson does. I think he's got heart over height, heart over weight, whatever you want to call it. Height does not matter in the NFL. We're seeing this happen. We're seeing it on a full display week in and week out with Kyler Murray. He's torching defenses. Now, granted, the 49ers just beat the Arizona Cardinals on Saturday night. I was very, very intrigued by Robert Saleh's performance, and the 49ers played well in that game. Now, I was confused why and how the 49ers only held the Cardinals to 12 points, but I went back and I was actually at work. I didn't get the chance to watch the game, but I went back and watched the highlights, and it was a dominant Robert Saleh performance that whole entire day. Robert Saleh was the reason we won that game. And Robert Saleh is likely going to be gone next season, which sucks because he brings a lot of energy to this team, and he's not even a player. He's a coach. But you always see him getting fired up on the sidelines. But I know that was kind of random, but yeah, I mean, we see it week in and week out with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray torches defenses, and, he's a good quarterback. Look what him and DeAndre Hopkins are doing now. So dual threat quarterbacks are definitely seemingly becoming more popular in the NFL, but Kyle Shanahan is just like Doug Peterson. He's just like, Bruce Arians. Those guys like traditional quarterbacks. Those guys like quarterbacks that can move the ball downfield when it comes to passing, going the deep ball, going the medium passes. That's who Kyle Shanahan likes. A guy like Kyle Trask, a guy like Mac Jones. So Zack Wilson, if he's on the board when the 49ers draft and they don't take him, don't be surprised, because that's not a type of guy that Kyle Shanahan likes. Even though BYU runs a similar offensive scheme, to the 49ers. So, I don't know. I mean, Kyle Trask, I love Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask does not have a good offensive line. His right tackle is probably a worse version than Mike McGlinchey is, and that's a fact. I mean, this guy does not have a good offensive line at Florida. He does not have a run game. Kyle Shanahan is probably sitting back, evaluating Kyle Trask and saying, what could Kyle Trask be if we gave him a good run game, if we gave him a good offensive line, if he had a very good defense. Just don't be surprised if Zack Wilson's on the field, if Justin Fields is on the field, Kyle Shanahan's likely going to take Trask over both of them. That's just who Kyle Shanahan is, and I would be very shocked if he took a guy like Justin Fields or Zack Wilson in the draft, even though I would want a guy like them because they're dual threat. You can do much more in an offense with a dual threat quarterback. It's not who Shanahan likes, man. It's not. We've seen that, and Kyle Shanahan does really good with traditional quarterbacks. I mean, Matt Ryan was an MVP winner in 2016 when he played under Kyle Shanahan. When Shanahan was in Atlanta. So, I don't know. I think the most the quarterback that'll probably catch Shanahan's eyes the most, and that'll probably, you know, hit Kyle Shanahan's weak spot. It's probably going to be Kyle Trask. I think that's the best option for the 49ers in Kyle Shanahan's eyes. Now, you get a guy like Zack Wilson on the 49ers, and that's a guy that can instantly probably come out and start. Kyle Trask, different. I don't know if Kyle Trask would instantly start for the 49ers because it's seemingly like I've seen mock drafts of Kyle Trask being taken in the first round. I've seen him seen him fell to the second round in mock drafts. So I don't know when the 49ers will take him. I don't know if it's going to be with their first round pick or if it's going to be with the second round pick. But if you don't take him in the first round, it's likely he's going to be gone by the time you can get your hands on him in the second round. So I don't necessarily know what Kyle Trask is projected to go. I'm guessing probably mid first round probably. I would assume Kyle Trask goes, but the 49ers don't have to start him right away if they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. If they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers are likely going to start Jimmy Garoppolo, put him on a tight leash, and until Jimmy Garoppolo messes up, this is if we keep Jimmy Garoppolo moving on in the next season. But if the 49ers keep him, they're going to have him on a tight leash. And I believe he's already on thin ice as is. I don't see him coming back for 2021. That's why I'm making this video on a quarterback. But if it does happen, if they restructure Jimmy's contract and whatnot, the 49ers are not going to start Kyle Trask week one. They're going to do what a lot of teams are starting to do now in the NFL league. Look at Mahomes. He backed up, Alex Smith for 3-4 years, and now he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Look at Tua Tagovailoa. He backed up Ryan Fitzpatrick. Justin Herbert did it with Tyrod Taylor. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it would just depend on if we keep Jimmy Garoppolo or not. If Jimmy Garoppolo is on our roster next season, I don't see any other quarterback starting for us, at least for week one, considering, like I said, a lot of teams are starting to, start their quarterbacks week one, and then, after week one, if it ain't going good, they're going to bring in that rookie they just drafted or something like that. So we'll see how it pans out, but I think Kyle Trask is likely going to be the rookie quarterback taken for the 49ers. Likely one of the best options for the 49ers. I mean, this guy has a terrible offensive line, and he throws bullet passes, darts under heavy, heavy pressure. If you give this guy a semi-good offensive line with a run game, Kyle Trask can be awesome. So who knows, but that's the rookie quarterback I think the 49ers will add this offseason, Kyle Trask. And like I said, I mean, Trask, he's a very good quarterback. I like Kyle Trask, but I like Zack Wilson more. With Kyle Shanahan not being high on dual threat quarterbacks, I just don't think that the 49ers are going to draft him. But if there's one thing I can see, Kyle Shanahan looks at the Arizona Cardinals, he looks at the Seattle Seahawks, and he goes, look what they're doing. They have a dual-threat quarterback that can do both, that can keep our defense guessing. Why shouldn't I take one of them and compete in the NFC West again? Kyle Shanahan could also do something like that. He could be high on Zack Wilson. He could have switched his whole, look on quarterbacks, and maybe he likes dual-threat quarterbacks now. I don't know, but it's probably highly doubtful. And that's why guys like Trey Lance and Justin Fields and Zack Wilson, I just don't think Kyle Shanahan's going to be high on them as opposed to, Kyle Trask, who barely has a run game, barely has an offensive line, but can make things work. So Kyle Trask is the rookie quarterback option I think the 49ers will address in the offseason. And we'll see how it pans out. Let me know in the comments down below who you guys think the 49ers will take in the draft. It may not be a quarterback. It could be an offensive lineman. But I think Kyle Trask is likely the option for the 49ers come April.